Welcome into Press Box Live. I'm Stan the Fan Charles of Press Box and PressBoxOnline.com. With me, as always, on these Monday excursions into the world of baseball is Ross Grimsley. Ross, how are you?
Wonderful, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good.
Great.
It's good to see you. We got two special guests that are going to join us in just a couple seconds as we talk Bowie Baysox baseball with Assistant General Manager Phil Wrye and play-by-play voice Adam Pohl. But first, I got to tell folks about the Costas Inn, the folks that pay to get us on the air. The Costas Inn, located 4100 North Point Boulevard. Everybody in Birdland knows that the Costas Inn is the place to go live to eat your crabs, crab cakes, steaks, salads, soups, whatever it is, great desserts, and watch ball games live at the Costas Inn. But during the pandemic, they upped their game. They're now a preeminent curbside pickup or carry out, as we used to say in the old days. They do a fantastic job. Check out their menu at CostasInn.com, and they pack it all up good. No leakage. I've done it several times myself. The Costas Inn, 410-477-1975. Our guests, as promised, are Phil Wrye, Assistant General Manager, because we want to talk about the biggest homestand of the season coming up starting tomorrow night, and Adam Pohl, one of the play-by-play voices of the Bowie Baysox and an old friend. Phil, let's start with you. You've got, I'm billing it as the biggest homestand of the season. You've got 12 games over, 13 days or 12 days?
13 days, yep.
All right. Have you found that the post-pandemic scheduling of having less travel, where Hartford comes in for 6 games, Erie comes in for 6 games. I'm imagining that doesn't negatively impact you at all, that you get a team playing two, 3-game stands all at once.
Not necessarily, no. I think from our perspective, on the business perspective, having Monday off is the best thing we can do.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of done their weekend stuff, and to be home on a Monday is, unless you get a rehab or, the debut of an Adley Rutschman or somebody coming up, then you want to be home, but that'll take care of itself on a Tuesday. So the travel aspect has been a big game changer for the players, where, when we're playing a team like Reading or Richmond or somebody close by, we're going to arrive there on a Tuesday around noontime. So if we were playing a 3-game series against one of those teams, they're going to come into town on a Tuesday around noon and leave Thursday after the game. So they don't get a chance to settle into a hotel room. They don't get a chance to get adjusted to a bed, or, all the things that we, feel
we
as
take
well.
For granted. Yeah.
Yeah. And now they do. They know, you get into a little bit of a pattern while you're on the road. And you're going to get a day off every week. For us, that's nice from a staffing perspective. We know early game on a Sunday afternoon, we get Monday without a game, rest, recover, get ready for the new stuff. The players can get away from the ballpark for a day in most cases. And so I haven't really heard too many complaints about it. I think we like it. And,
it makes it more civil. It makes the whole process a more civilized one.
Yeah. We're not in the business of flying to other places either. So if we were flying, with private jets somewhere, that might make a big difference. But, these guys, a little less time on a bus is always desirable.
All right. 12 games in 13 days. Tell us what you've got promotionally. I know you got one fireworks show in this homestand on Saturday, the 21st, after the game. And I know there's something new out there called Wolf Wednesday.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So we love dogs at the ballpark, and Wolf Wednesdays is anybody who's got a well behaved and leashed pet dog, I should say, can come on out to the ballpark. Bring your dog out to the ballpark. Have a good time as an entire family, is what we say. So many people love doing things with their dogs, and Wednesdays are the nights to do that at our ballpark. So there's a couple of those coming up. fireworks this Saturday. We also have fireworks on the 28th. So if you can't make it out this Saturday, starting to get into our kind of promo schedule this weekend too. We're calling it Boots and Baseball Night, but it's kind of, for all intents and purposes, a country night. Country music, wear the boots, wear the jeans, the whole nines, and come on out and have a good time. Next week, we're doing our Top Gun night on the night that the Top Gun Maverick is going to be released. We're really trying to get our manager to start Maverick Hendley behind the plate, because if he's not starting behind the plate, then I don't know why we have him. Because if we're doing Top Gun night, we got to start Maverick Hendley behind the plate. There's just no doubt.
I hear you.
We don't have a goose though, unfortunately.
We don't have a goose, but we get, maybe we can get hooked up with Gossage somewhere. We need to bring out Gossage.
Maybe we can cook the opponent's goose.
Yeah, we'll cook the opponent's goose.
All
The
right.
Sea Wolves, kind of the same.
All right.
And one of our funnest events throughout the course of the year. I love it. We kind of say we're the original inventors of this. I don't know if we are or not, but we'll take the credit for it. On Saturday, the 28th, we do our annual 1K beer run. So it's 3 laps around the field, a beer after each lap. And we're this year we're saying no shotgunning, because that gives you a distinct advantage when you're keyholing the side of the can. So no shotgunning this year, but 3 laps, 3 beers. First one to accomplish that and finish the race and keep them down wins the race, gets to throw out the first pitch and get a few other prizes. But it's a fun time. You don't have to run it either. You can walk it, you can stroll it. We see it all.
That sounds like fun. You want
Drop your beer.
you want Grimsley and I to come out and judge or something?
Yeah. I mean, or run.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
That ship sailed.
Well, we can put a wheelchair or
No,
a dolly.
when is that? When is that?
That's
It's the 28th of May, Saturday. So we do it before the game. It's on the field. They run around the warning track 3 times. Most of the players come out and wonder what we are doing. They're like, how come we can't do this? 3 beers, 3 laps? That's great.
Ross and I would like to do it after the game during the fireworks.
Yeah, right. In a corner.
Bring a flashback to the 60s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Ross, you got a couple questions for Phil, and we are going to get to Adam Pohl and
him
talk
and
about
Adam. I know being a GM, assistant GM, a radio announcer, your job is not specifically as a radio announcer to only do that. Assistant GM, you guys wear a lot of hats. If you could talk a little bit about that, I know what you do. I've seen it. John Laser was in Richmond when I was there.
Yeah.
I know what goes on with you guys. So if you could talk a little bit about, you got more than what your job title says.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if there's enough pieces of paper for what I do. If somebody ever asked me to have to put down a job description, it would take me a while. But, for me, I oversee our marketing efforts, our advertising efforts, promotional calendar events, the giveaways, all of the theme nights, and work with our staff to do that. I handle all of the scripting of what happens on the promotional side of things during a game. So that takes me a couple hours, 3 hours a day to script that out, all the announcements that our PA announcers make, oversee the video production and things that we do. I also handle our team's travel. So putting together the hotel reservations, the bus stuff, working with the team to, if there are any community appearances, mascot appearances, things like that. I also oversee and work with our media folks. So doing things like this and also making sure that we've got what we need for our fan base. I've mostly retired from the tarp crew, but every once in a while they drag me back out there. But the back and the neck and the arms and the knees aren't quite there anymore, 23 years in. But every once in a while, all the way down to I've actually twice in my career, and I'm not saying it's good, but I've had to perform the national anthem before a game just because our anthem singer couldn't make it on time or got stuck in traffic. And we don't use a canned national anthem. It's got to be live for me. So if you're going to make people do it live, sometimes you may have to do it yourself. But which is not a good thing for the listening audience, but you know, you know, really, Ross, it's one of those things. It's kind of any port in a storm, and when you know, before the gates open and when the gates are open, you do what needs to be done. If it's picking up trash, you know, the cleaning crew didn't do a good job on a Saturday night with a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday, and you got to go in there and, you know, get out the blowers and the shovels and clean the bowl. That's what you do. You know, it's so much different than it would be in the big leagues. But you know, you just got to
suite with all the food and drinks.
Yep. You know, we've cleaned those too.
Oh,
you know, it's just, you know, you try to make the experience for the folks that are coming to the ballpark as enjoyable and entertaining. And hopefully whatever's going on in their lives, they can forget about it for 3.5 hours and just be engaged with you. And that's what we kind of take every day when we meet as a staff in the morning. You know, what are we doing tonight? How are we entertaining? How are we giving them their values worth, and hopefully leaving with some smiles.
Adam, I know you, you know, being the voice
Yeah.
for so many years, several different places. I was reading, you've been a place, they've changed the names of the teams.
It's true. It's
And
true.
there are some
That
really
is a
crazy.
good sign. That is a
Oh,
sign
yeah.
that you've been around a long time. You know, the first, let me think about it. Yeah, the first 3 places that I worked, the team names are different. They just changed the name of the college summer league team that I first interned at in Asheboro, North Carolina. They just changed that name this year. Of course, I was there in 2001, so it stayed for a little while. But altogether, I mean, you know, what Phil spoke to was really a small business owner mindset, right? You have to do what has to be done. It's kind of funny because I don't work full time with the Baysox anymore. They've allowed me to continue on, and I'm so fortunate to kind of be like broadcaster emeritus. But it's interesting to go outside of baseball and work in more of a corporate environment, because it is so different. And I'll tell you, working in minor league baseball is not for everybody. We have a lot of people that work these internships that come in and they're really excited. And by the end of the summer, they're like, you know, I don't really want to do this anymore, you know, because it's not as glitzy and glamorous as many feel. But it is such an incredibly valuable experience to be a part of putting on the show, to be a part of the gathering of a community. In many of these minor league towns, and Ross, you were in a great one in Richmond for a long time. I mean, it really is such a center of the community. And there's almost nothing better that you could go to than a minor league baseball event. It's a very different feel than a major league baseball event even, but altogether, it's great family, affordable, fun. And Phil is one of the, you know, those that have been such an incredible mainstay in the industry.
It's like being Phil, it's like being a carnival barker a little bit. I mean,
Sometimes, yeah.
you make the
can
stuff,
be.
you make the stuff happen. One of the things you do is you have happy hour Thursdays. So
Mhm.
you got a couple of them coming up.
Yep.
One will be this Thursday, the 20th, right? No, that's the
correct.
19th.
19th. Yep.
19th. And then the following week, the 26th, you have it.
Yes.
Tell folks about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the happy hours are events where fans can come in early and they can get $2 draft beers and some other beer specials for an hour and a half from 5 to 6:30, and just enjoy those down in our picnic pavilion, the Bud Light Picnic Pavilion. We also have live music from local performers that we bring in for about an hour and 15 minutes or so, and play some covers and some of their own stuff, and really just kind of get out and usually by that time the visiting teams, you know, finishing up batting practice and things like that. So you get a little bit of catching the tail end of that as well.
You can give them some grief.
What was that?
You can give them some grief.
Yeah, you can give them a little grief there. Maybe catch a few autographs from some of the visiting folks as well. And, you know, really just get in the ballpark a little bit early on a Thursday night where everybody tries to, you know, start their weekend a little bit early. We try to help that out a little bit. And throughout the course of the year, we try to theme some of them out. Later in the year, we have a Margaritaville happy hour night. So it's a little bit Jimmy Buffett stuff. This week we're doing college colors night. We want everybody to wear their college gear out at the ballpark. No matter how old or new or tattered or torn or the college doesn't exist anymore, whatever, just come on out and have a good time. And, and then the game's at 6:35. So we kind of shut it down at 6:30 and get ready for the ball game.
Okay, and the Friday night games the next 2 weeks, as all Fridays, are 7:05, correct?
Yep. Our Friday night games all 7:05, Saturdays 6:35, and Sunday afternoons at 1:05, with the exception of our July 3rd game down the road, which is a night game because we're not home on the 4th. So we're going to shoot the fireworks on the 3rd.
All right. We had a couple weeks back, we had Jack Graham on to preview a little bit of what's going on in Aberdeen.
good.
We always like to have the minor league folks on. I want to turn to Adam now for a sec and talk a little bit about, because you have the same wealth of experience that Phil does in terms of fan interaction and so forth. All these things are great promotion ideas and everything. Have you found, though, that since the Elias era has really gotten underway last year, because none of his prospects were playing with you until last year, has that moved the needle? Are people interested in Grayson Rodriguez, DL Hall, Adley Rutschman, now Gunnar Henderson? Have you seen the needle move by the talent level?
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest aspect of that was probably last season, especially early in the year. I do think you're seeing more people come to our ballpark, wearing O's gear. It's one of the neat things, though. I mean, not every minor league team is in a place where the people that live in that city actually root, for that major league affiliate. And for the Baysox, being an Orioles affiliate is incredibly important. I mean, it really wouldn't be the same if we were a Seattle Mariners affiliate.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be terrible, but it wouldn't be the same. And for us, that is about getting rehabbing players down, but it also is much more than that. And it's interesting because in this era of Oriole baseball, we always usually talk about the fact that our players become stars, after their Baysox, right? So it's like, I mean, Trey Mancini is probably the best half of a season in Bowie in the last 10 years, but nobody even thought he was going to be a major league baseball player for the most part. When he came to Bowie in 2015, he was an 8th round draft choice that had hit 3 home runs in low A the year before, right? So he wasn't this enormous burgeoning prospect that everybody had to see. And the Orioles were really good at that time, right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Last year, it felt like the shoe was on the other foot. I mean, when Adley Rutschman was with the Baysox throughout, and then when you get that starting pitcher, everybody comes on that specific day, especially when Grayson Rodriguez was making.
I was out there
debut.
last
That was
year on
probably the
gas
biggest
can.
night of
I was
that.
there on gas can night.
No doubt, the gas can.
And there was
but there is a
definitely
lot of
a bu-
excitement. I mean,
there was
there's
a
no
lot
doubt
of buzz
about
that
it.
night.
And people, I do feel, I feel like the number one thing, because obviously I've been with an Orioles affiliate since 2007. And, look, this is a great burgeoning group of prospects, but it's not like we didn't have great prospects, in the early years in which I was in the system, when at the same time we had Wieters and Arrieta and Britton and, and then a year or two later was Machado and Scope. I mean, there was an incredible bevy of talent coming up that time as well. But I do feel like our fans are more astute. They're more into this growth and this message of what the Orioles are doing than they were in that era.
Before I turn it over to Ross for a couple questions, tell me how good you think Gunnar Henderson is at.
He's an exciting player. When Gunnar came to the Baysox, the main guy to really compare him to, I thought, was Ryan Mountcastle, because Mountcastle was drafted as a shortstop. They were drafted in almost the exact same time of the draft. They were both high school picks. If you think about Adley Rutschman, I mean, even guys like Hayes and Mullins and Mancini and many of these new guys that are big, that they're all collegiately drafted ball players. So Henderson has been, he didn't hit at as high of a level immediately as Mountcastle did in the minor leagues, but it's been pretty remarkable to watch him play and to see how different of a player he is than Mountcastle. Mountcastle. I mean, he is really a unique ball player. He's a much better defensive player. You know, he's got a very, he's got a solid arm. But the thing that stands out to me, I mean, he hits the ball really well to the opposite field. He walks a ton. And the last thing is that really has stood out to me this year is his speed. So he's a guy that, look, he can hit for a little bit of power, but I mean, he walks a ton and he's got really good speed. I don't know why people aren't talking about him as a potential leadoff hitter down the road. I think that's a real possibility. It's something that I haven't seen anybody speak to. I mean, not everybody's going to be a 3-hole hitter, right?
Yep.
And I think Gunnar Henderson is a guy that could be a real good on base percentage guy, a set the table type guy.
Position you see him playing ultimately in the big leagues. Can he play short, or is he a third baseman and waiting?
I think you know what? I mean, he's not the Baysox best defensive shortstop right now, but that's not necessarily a negative because Joey Ortiz is really a major league ready defensive shortstop right now for Bowie. But my guess would be third base, but I think shortstop's a real possibility. And why not be a utility guy, play all over? I mean, I think he could do that.
All right, Ross, go ahead. You got a couple?
You've seen, obviously you've seen Rutschman, you've seen Rodriguez. And I'm sure you've talked to him, correct?
You know what? I mean, so much less than in years past, though, due to everything with COVID. But
right. Well, I mean, but you've been around, so you get a feel for the guy, and obviously, we did a show last week basically on him and what his father did and how he is, and all the scouts that I've talked to. That I mean, this guy's special. He's a special guy. Henderson, he's a special guy. He's a big, strong kid. And what is he? He's only 21, right? 21,
that's
22.
A huge thing too. I mean, he's
going to be. I mean, a lot of people are talking about him, scout wise. But my question is, knowing these guys, Rutschman, Rodriguez, they're going to get to the big leagues. They're at some point in time they're going to struggle.
Sure, no doubt about
it. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. Chances are not going to be a Yount or a K-Line or a Horner or one of these guys. But how do you think going into Boston, New York, Philadelphia, some of these places where they ain't been, and they're going to get an earful? I mean, it's going to be something. From all indications that they may handle this with no problem. But It's going to be something. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll take it as far as Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, and DL Hall. I mean, once again, Hall and Rodriguez are two high school picks. Adley Rutschman has played at the highest level of baseball you could play other than in pro ball. I mean, he played in the College World Series and was a part of a championship team dramatically. I think Adley is, he's 24 years old. So I think he's going to be very much ready. The other thing, though, that Adley Rutschman has shown in his career is that he's a lot of guys, when they're so talented, they struggle to improve because, they kind of have this mindset that they have it all figured out. And Rutschman has showed in his career that he is really a guy that works on what he's not that great at. And he has showed this incredible ability to get better. Trey Mancini was like that. Mike Yastrzemski, I feel like, has a lot of that. That was a Baysox back in the day. I know that his success has not come with the Orioles, but Rutschman is, I think that if he's the guy that comes into the major leagues and struggles a bit offensively, I don't think it's the end of the world. We saw him struggle a little bit with velocity with a bit of a longer swing early last year in Bowie. And by the end of the year, he was hitting well above 300 in Norfolk. He's another guy as well, though, that, I mean, an unbelievably patient eye, incredible defensive catcher. But when you watch him, the two things that stand out right away are just how explosive he is defensively, because he's so big. Sometimes it's hard to get it out quickly, and he is so good at that. He's got a great arm. I mean, defensively, he's spectacular. And then secondly, again, it's not a surprise if Adley goes to the plate and watches the first 5 pitches go by in an at bat. I mean, it's so unusual to see in a power hitter. So he's another guy
too, doesn't he? He runs well for a catcher.
For a catcher, definitely.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a surprise to me, though, if he's a 240, 250 guy at first that has a well above average on base percentage and hits for a lot of power. And then for those two pitchers, they're very different. DL Hall is so electric. I mean, DL Hall is a left-handed pitcher that just looks different than almost any left-handed pitcher you've seen. So he's going to be like a whoa moment. You know, when Oriole fans see this guy, it's going to be like, what is that? You know, it's a very interesting thing. He's almost too electric in that he just not too many guys can hit a fair ball against him, and that can hurt him because he gets deep into counts, high pitch count, a lot of walks in that regard. But he's going to be extremely exciting to watch, and he is an incredible competitor. But the guy that's got that mentality and the thing that the scouts look for, that's almost like, you know, built out of central casting, is Grayson Rodriguez. I mean, he's a tall, burly right-hander. Just seems like nothing ever phases him. He's not very emotional. And he's got a lot of Josh Beckett in him to me. I mean, he's just a big Texan right-hander. Looks like he's playing catch, like just lightly throwing in the outfield. And you're like, oh my God, he just threw 97 miles an hour. You know, it just looks so
kind of like the opposite of Ross Grimsley.
I threw hard when I first came up. Now don't take that away from me.
Hey Phil, before we let you get out of here, and we appreciate both of your time tonight, tell us again about this homestand. You've got 12 games. You've got the Hartford team coming in starting tomorrow night for 6 straight games, and then the Erie club coming in. Who are they the affiliates of?
So Hartford Yard Goats are the affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. So we get to see them out here too much, but their prospects coming up. And Erie has Detroit. So, kind of interesting. Last year from the prospect side of things, we had Adley and Grayson. They had Torkelson and Riley Green.
Wow.
Right.
So
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you talk about, 2 of the top, 20, 25 guys in baseball. We had, in our league right there. We actually missed, I think, both of them. They went to AAA right before they came to us last year. So we didn't get to see them in Bowie. But we sent them Adley. So, it was a fair trade. But so, definitely home for 6, then Monday off next week, and then home for 6. But Ross, I wanted to jump in real quickly too on what you said, with Grayson. I've gotten a chance to know Grayson pretty decently over the last year and a half or so. And, talk about a guy with quiet confidence.
Yes.
I think what you'll see the dynamic is Hall might be a little bit more outwardly demonstrative if he has a key strikeout in an inning with a kind of an outward fist pump bump. I think more along the lines Grayson's probably just going to walk off the mound, but inside will be like, yeah, I got him type of guy. But he's not going to show it. Whereas I think Hall is more of the kind of open, little bit more flair. Fans might flock to that a little bit more too, because, you see that in the game. Adley's going to probably play it even keel most of the time. He does something that I've never seen another catcher do.
Are you about to say the same thing I noticed about him?
When an inning ends, he meets the pitcher walking off the mound to just have a couple of words, whether it was a good inning, a good pitch, a good at bat, a good inning, a bad inning, whatever it is, but just a few more words as they walk into the dugout together. And it'll be interesting to see how current MLB guys adjust to that, or if he'll continue to do it. But he says he's been doing it, for pretty much his entire life. And it's just an interesting dynamic to see, because I've never seen it before.
Yeah. I think it's in his DNA to do that. I really do.
And I really think he's more he's going to think defense first, working with that pitcher. And the offense is going to be something that, whether he struggles to come up or whether it's, it looks easy, he's always going to work on it, but he's working with that pitcher first. And that's going to be his number one thing is getting through that inning and making them successful, because then the team has a chance to win if they keep runs off the board.
Our cover story that's out right now deals with that very fact, his passion for catching.
Yep, he definitely has it. But don't be surprised when you see him over at first base once a week or so either. because he does that. He did that with us. He'd catch 4 or 5 games, play first base or DH a game, just to keep those skills up. So you'll see that a little bit too.
Hey, real quick before, and I got one more for you, Phil, and we'll get you out
Sure.
in time. My editor, Luke Jackson, who wrote the piece on Rutschman, was out about 2.5 weeks ago. A friend of his who's a scout told him to go out and see this Cleveland pitching prospect, Danny
Yeah.
Espino.
Yeah. We
were
don't
you
want to
there
see
that
him
night?
anymore either.
Were you there that night, Adam? I heard he struck out the first 11 guys.
First
Yeah,
11.
it was absolutely electric. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It was
mean, he was
amazing.
unbelievable. But he's another guy. It's so rare to see a starting pitcher come out and start throwing in the upper 90s. So that's what he was doing. And obviously we've had 2 of them here in the last few years in Hall and Rodriguez do that, which is just crazy.
We just need a starting pitcher, coming up through the system that's named Oates. We got a Hall and Oates, on the
But
mound. in
Stan, you'll like
Baltimore.
this. You know who ended that 11 for 11 stretch? It was a Gunnar Henderson.
got a
Gunnar.
home run off of him.
Yeah.
First pitch
Uh,
swinging.
I like the sound of that. Hey, Phil, real quick. Fireworks this coming Saturday night, the
Yep.
21st. It's Preakness Day in Baltimore.
Yep.
Yes.
And then fireworks the 28th.
The
What
28th.
is it about? I asked Jack Graham this question. What is it about fireworks that still captures the imagination of anyone from 3 years old to 85 years old?
I think it's a great question because if you ask me about fireworks or ask Adam about fireworks, we're going to tell you that we hate them. Like, we've seen 250 fireworks shows in my lifetime. How can you make them any different?
Right.
It's a bunch of lights going off to some music. But we do, whether you theme them, with a particular musician, or whether it's a theme like a country or a Jimmy Buffett or something like that. So there's always ways to tweak it a little bit. But I think, kids love to see it. Adults love to see it. And it's not something that you can just go, well, maybe you can in some parts of the state, just go down in the corner and see. They do have to be scheduled. They should be permitted. They should be shot by professionals, by professionals that have 10 fingers and 10 toes. But it's something that kind of minor league baseball brought back to the forefront decades ago. And now you see major league teams do it. They stole it from the minors. I'll say it, as a thing, but I think there's always that mystique of it. Like the event's not over yet till the fireworks get shot off, and kind of it's a capper to a weekend event or whenever you're doing them. So it's not just fireworks or for the 4th of July anymore. You can do them for different events and special things. There are minor league teams that shoot them 30, 40 times. My personal says that's a little overkill. We do them about 15 out of our 69, 70 games. I think that's a good, healthy number, to throw a little extra. And from the minor league side of it, the business side of it, they are sponsored. So it does provide a little bit of revenue to the clubs. So without that, there'd be some revenue opportunities that would be missed. Your bigger events and bigger nights tend to have those on it, your weekends, your Fridays, your Saturdays and things. So it all ties together. But I think at the end of the night, it's a little bit of a magical. You can look up, you can see them, you can have some music. It puts a capper on the night, and be able to go home. No matter win, lose, draw, whatever, you still have a memory to kind of leave the ballpark with.
The web address is baysox.com. I know in Major League Baseball now, it's almost all electronic. Can people buy their tickets, and are they tickets, or are they print them at your house or put it on your phone?
We have everything. So
everything.
you can go online and you can get a digital ticket. You can print that piece of paper or use it on your mobile device. But if you come to the box office at the stadium, we'll give you a physical ticket. So for those ticket collectors and want to keep those, you can actually get the ticket at the box office. Or if you call us and ask us to mail them, we'll do that too. So you can. I don't know how much longer we'll be doing that, but it's a changing
landscape.
Yep, can still
it's
do that.
Baysox.com, 12-game homestand, 6 versus Hartford starting tomorrow night, then a day off next Monday. and then 6 versus Erie. We thank Phil Wrye, Assistant General Manager, and one of the play-by-play voices, Adam Pohl, for joining us and explaining all this to us. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
thank
guys.
you so much for having us.
All right. We want to remind everybody we've been brought to you by the Costas Inn. Again, the Costas Inn, one of your preeminent places to pick up curbside or carry out. I'll bet you're hitting your head now going, why didn't I think of that? 410-477-1975. Go to costasinn.com to check out their menu. For Ross Grimsley, Phil Wrye, and Adam Pohl, I'm Stan the Fan, and we'll see you back here real soon.